Hello people, I'm Dr. Abhishek Sarkar from Prayagraj, India, and today I'm going to provide an introduction to light. In order to understand what light actually is, we first of all need to know the basic definition of light. It goes on something like this. Light is a form of energy whose interaction with the retina of an eye produces the sensation of sight. Now, if you really want to understand this definition, you're going to have to break it up into smaller sections. The first section would be light is a form of energy. Now, when we talk about energy, then us humans or any other thing, any other object or creature that consumes energy, maybe in the form of fossil fuel or maybe in the form of mechanical energy, is directly or indirectly related to the giant ball of gases and giant ball of fire around which our planet is revolving 24/7 called the sun. In short, sun is the main source of energy for this planet Earth and the other planets that reside in our solar system. Light, or the white light actually, which we are more concerned about, is just a small part of what the sun has to offer. See, the sun does not just emit this visible or white light that we are going to talk about later, but there are other energies too, other spectrums or other wavelengths too. The entire bunch of energy that is being emitted from the sun is called the electromagnetic spectrum. And I'll once again say that the light which we are concerned with is called white light. That is the light that enables us to see objects. Because if white light wasn't present in the atmosphere or in the world, we won't be able to see a single thing. How does that work? Now, I think the concept is quite clear to you now that how light is a form of energy because it is actually coming from the sun. You might argue that no, sir, in my home the light comes out of a CFL light or an LED bulb. But yeah, that is right. But still, if you start to connect the dots, you will see that the final dot will lead up to the sun. Because without that, none of the things that are working or running on this planet would ever do so. Everything will practically cease to exist. And before we talk about that, you guys must have heard about the Big Bang Theory. That the entire universe was formed out of a huge bang. But what was there before the Big Bang? No one knows for sure, but it is a hypothesis that there was nothing but just plain darkness. Just imagine, if I were to blindfold you, or maybe if I were to just leave you in a very dark room where there was no light whatsoever, what would that feel like? That would just feel like there's nothing. It's totally empty. Although the room is totally filled with the goodies, with the things that you love, but you won't be able to see it. And unfortunately, if you actually want an experience of how that feels, you should think about a blind person. That person's entire life is black. So that is the importance of light or any other energy for that matter. Here we are just going to talk about light, but there are other aspects too which we are not going to talk about because this is the introduction to light after all. Okay, so the white light that we are concerned with that enables us to see objects, what that white light, it's nothing but a combination of 7 different wavelengths which is denoted by the acronym VIBGYOR, VIBGYOR. Beneath it you can see I have written the full form of all the letters that are in that word. V stands for violet, I for indigo, B for blue, G for green, Y for yellow, O for orange, and R for red. These are the 7 constituent wavelengths or 7 constituent colors if you are feeling a bit non-technical, because wavelength is a more technical and scientific term. These are 7 constituent colors of the white light, which is being emitted from the sun and which is a very small part of the electromagnetic spectrum. If you talk about the wavelength, then it ranges from at around, let's see, we can never be accurate about these things, but an approximate value is that the wavelength of white light is somewhere between 400 nanometers to 750 nanometers. In the book which we have read, it's written at 397 to 723 nanometers. But you see, these values can always change because the amount of energy that's being emitted from the sun, it keeps on fluctuating. That's why this energy, this entire range can change at times. But what remains same or what remains constant is these 7 wavelengths. In our further lecture, we'll talk about the phenomena of light, like reflection, refraction. We'll talk about the nature, how light behaves, because you must find it quite peculiar, but light actually behaves in a dual nature. At times it can exhibit particle nature, and other times it can exhibit the wave nature or wave propagation theory. So we'll talk about that in the further lectures. That's all for now, kids. Please have a good day. Goodbye.